So what are we supposed to do with DeAndre Hopkins for the rest of the 2021 season? I mean, last night, I don't think we can take that too much to heart. Two targets, two receptions, 66 yards, no touchdowns, but just on 25% of the snaps. For those that watched the game, you could clearly see after that deep shot that he took from Kyler Murray, he was holding his hamstring, couldn't really get back into the game until later on for just one more target thereafter. So I'm not taking that too much into account. It's more about what's happened in the 6 weeks prior to Thursday Night Football, where we've seen the target share just hasn't really been there for DeAndre Hopkins as it has been in years past. Now, I know that Dwayne McFarland of PFF, like he had noted that if you take away the two games in week 3 and week 4 when he was dealing with the rib injury, also you remove some of the targets that were taken away due to penalty, Hopkins would be at about a 28 to 29% target share, which is great. I will absolutely take that, and at least gives me some optimism for him moving forward. But we have to at least acknowledge that his situation isn't the same as it was in 2020. It's just not. I mean, the target or the competition for targets just is not the same as it was in 2020. And you can look at things from a qualitative standpoint and say that to go from guys like Larry Fitzgerald, Andy Isabella, I mean, even really Max Williams, we weren't counting on Max Williams, and Christian Kirk as well in his first year with the system, to go from that to AJ Green with some more juice, Rondell Moore with some more juice. I mean, there's just more options within that offense that allow Kyler Murray to spread the ball around a bit more. And we can say all that qualitatively. But of course, if y'all know me, been following me for long enough, you know that I at least like to look at things from a quantitative standpoint. And y'all know I love my charts. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. I mean, last season, I mean, these two charts I'm going to look at right here, they really kind of show you how different Hopkins' situation looks like. I mean, last year, I mean, he was seeing, I mean, just a massive target share. I mean, he was at that Hopkins, Devontae Adams, Michael Thomas, that level of target share. I mean, in the first 7 weeks, taking over like 70 targets compared to the 116 going elsewhere in that offense to those other guys I was talking about, Fitz, Isabella, whomever the case may be. Now, if you look at it through the first 7 weeks of this season, now with that upgraded personnel, now with Kyler Murray having more options within that passing game, his pie has literally gotten smaller. I mean, that there's really no other way to describe it. Now, if you go from the opportunity that's been presented to him this season as compared to last year, that's also translated to his production as well. I mean, if you looked at how many yards that he was getting through the first 6-7 weeks of the season, it's really almost half of the rest of the team's production. I mean, 704 to 806. I mean, that's really almost half of that production was going Hopkins' way last year. This year, we're looking at about a third. Now, of course, again, you can take into context those 2 weeks with the rib injury. Okay, fine. But still, we're still seeing over 100 yards per game being distributed to the other pass catchers in that offense. We're still seeing some of that work and some of those other pass catchers being involved, whether it even going farther down past the wide receivers to the Max Williams of the world, rest in peace. But now Zach Ertz is involved, to the running backs. I mean, Chase Edmonds still being involved as well. So it's just harder and harder for us to go ahead and say that, well, Hopkins is going to be 100% fine and continue to be that complete alpha wide receiver one that we had expected when we drafted them. That's just simply not the case. Now, he has been living off touchdowns, and I think that's absolutely something that we should take into account. As of right now, I mean, he's third in receiving targets in the entire league, and he also leads his own team in red zone targets, and then he's seventh in the league in that very same stat. So all in all, I mean, the opportunity where it counts, the opportunity where we need him to score the most points, he's earning those opportunities. He's also collecting on those as well in order to be up there towards the top of the league in touchdowns. On top of that, he also has the opportunity, or at least the team opportunity from a volume perspective, in order to continue to get that opportunity that we need for him. As of right now, I mean, this was through week 7, or before we got to Thursday Night Football, but traditionally with Arizona being towards the back end and pass rate over expectation, they're now towards the middle of the pack. We're seeing Kyler Murray throw more. That's also been the case in the red zone as well. I mean, while we saw more rushing touchdowns last night, we at least saw more passing as well. I mean, the touchdowns, obviously, we would hope to see those the more pass attempts, but at least through the first 7 weeks, we've seen more volume there overall. So I think it's more just adjusting our expectations. Is he going to be a wide receiver one on the level of Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams? I don't see that necessarily being the case. Can he be a back end of the wide receiver ranks, more a wide receiver 11, wide receiver 12? That's currently where he sits at right now, and I would expect that to be the case for the rest of the year. Peace.